Ladies and gentlemen, we are live, baby. We are live, and we are here to preview Manchester. Oh God, no! I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. Oh, God. It happens to the best of us, guys. It happens. But we're here to preview Manchester United and Wolves, and I'm joined by a couple of guests today. First and foremost, gotta introduce my new guest, Isaiah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Never better.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm excited to have you on. You know, we talked about this a while back, and I'm just happy to finally get you on, man.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah. So then, of course, you guys already know. We got Matthew McFadden over here, just doing him. You know, got his
just me things.
Just doing his Matthew McForeheadian things. You know,
nice one.
You know what? Good to see. So I think it's trying the gamer. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Greetings from a true Norwegian. True Norwegian. Nice. I love seeing you.
Just like Ollie.
Just like Ollie. You know what, Matthew? That's a good shout right there. That's a good shout.
Damn right. Yeah.
Mo, good to see you as well. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this a little bit. So Isaiah, you're the new guest. I want to come to you first. You know, we're coming up against Wolves. It's a team that we just got beat by in the FA Cup. That was a rough match overall. You know, what are some people for Wolves that you are worried about from them as a team?
If our midfield plays the way that it did yesterday against Watford, then we're in for some real trouble with Ruben Neves and John Moutinho. And not only that, if we allow the Wolves to get a shot on their, like what Watford did, if you allow what Watford did, attack as much as they did and get almost 30 shots, almost 20 shots, then we're going to be in some trouble because of Jimenez and Jota. It's going to be scary if they do perform the way they did yesterday.
Well, and bringing up the fact that, you know, our midfield did play so horrible yesterday. Like, we didn't see a standard Ander Herrera. Herrera just kind of he was giving the ball away left, right, and center. Matic was back being static, and it was a rough one from everybody in the midfield. It made it so Pogba was having to make up for everybody in that midfield.
Yeah.
But so I mean. I love you bringing up. I mean, he's somebody that I've been talking about for God knows how long. Ruben Neves. I mean, somebody I want to come to Manchester United really bad, but you know, I am worried about him, especially since he did have a huge impact in that game again in the FA Cup. He did. Him and Jean Moutinho, both of them had such huge impacts.
That duo is really, really good, and we also don't mention Den Dunker as well.
Yeah. No, that's another good one. I mean, so Matthew, same question to you, man. Is it who are you worried about for Wolves?
Quite a lot of players, to be honest. I mean, if that pre-cup game's anything to go by, then oh boy, we're going to be in for a tough one. Like Ruben Neves, like as I said, I mean, there's no secret that pretty much most of us want him in our team. But the one person I'm most scared of is Raul Jimenez. Like, he seems to be a forward who can just do absolutely everything. Like, the guy's deceptively quick. He can run with the ball. He's strong as well. Will hold it up, give it to Diogo Jota. He just seems like a complete forward at the moment. And, you know, it's mad. It's going to be absolutely mad if they don't buy him from Benfica in the summer. I think he's some £40 million or whatever, which, yeah, still high for, you know, guys of Wolverhampton, but they really should go on for him permanently. But there's quite a few players that Wolverhampton actually have, and you know, it's sad days when we've gone from the likes of, you know, talking about teams like Arsenal or whatever back in the day, saying yeah, they've got a few tough players, to talking about Wolverhampton saying that they've got players who can really kind of cause us problems as such. But there's Matt Doherty as well, who seems to be a really attacking fullback. They've got Johnny Otto on the left wing, or as the left wing back. They've got Diogo Jota. They've got Ruben Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker, Connor Cody, Willie Boyd. Basically, the whole starting 11 is just this well-drilled team that Nuno seems to be putting out for every single game. Like, they've got an absolutely tiny squad, but it just seems to work for them because they get that consistency and everyone seems to know each other. So in terms of, team spirit and, like the lineup, it's pretty obvious what Wolverhampton are going to do, but they're very good at it. That's the issue. And that's what we saw in the last cup game.
Well, and this is what I was really thinking about coming off of that last game. I mean, I love that you did mention Raul Jimenez. He's got 12 goals this season for Wolves, which that's a lot of goals for a team that's just coming up from the championship. Which I think all of us kind of expected Wolves to be a good team coming up. We saw what they were doing in the championship, and we saw that they've got the Portuguese national team. Like, if they add Ronaldo, they've got the Portuguese national team. Like, we're talking real stuff over here. But Raul Jimenez is somebody that I look at, and that's a really dangerous individual from a striker, especially considering the fact that I don't know if Victor's going to be back for the next game. We tend to struggle with bigger physical strikers, in general. But with Victor not being there, I would be very worried about somebody like Raul Jimenez. And Diego Jota is somebody that I'm also worried about. And then same with Matinho and Ruben Neves. Like that midfield duo, what they're doing for Wolves is so great. Like, it basically, the way that they set up in that 3-5-2 against big opponents, it's the reason why they cause problems for everybody in the top six, is because they are so well drilled to basically all come back together defensively and make it almost impossible for an opponent to break through. And then they just hit on the counter like that. Without thought and without question, they know exactly where they're going and what they're doing in that counter. And it's so dangerous.
And then they use Adama as their super sub, which is also more dangerous when you have somebody like Phil Jones or. Yeah, it's scary. Hopefully they don't do that, but it is scary.
So I mean, I got a question for you about that. So I mean, looking at the way we've been having subs recently, I mean, we've seen that we've been putting on. Jesse Lingard obviously came off the bench in this last match. It was the same with Andres Pereira, But looking at that, I mean, do you think that maybe we should be with what our injury situation is still at the moment? Should we possibly be looking to play more youth players? Should we be looking to put on some, bring in like Greenwood or Chong to be able to bring in a more pace into the game? Because like it or not, we watched this last game and it looked like Juan Mata was running in molasses. And it just was sad stuff. I mean, do you think we should be looking at that?
Yeah, definitely. I think if I were to bring one or two up, I would go with Mason Greenwood and Gardner. I know Greenwood can play. I believe he can play on the right. If not, I'm sure he can. And yeah. I mean, it will be a lot better than having Juan Mata there. You at least have some speed and a skillful player there. And the way Herrera or Matthew, the way they played yesterday. One of them is just going to have to be replaced either by McTominay, Pereira, or Gardner for me.
And honestly, I would love to see Fred get another chance too, because Fred did have, a good game. But Andres Pereira does seem to be the guy that, at the moment, Ollie does trust more. So but I also really like Andres Pereira. I've liked him. He's come through our youth setup, and seeing what he's done, I love it. And it's the same thing with McTominay too. That McTominay has, and especially you go back to that PSG game. I don't think that he's played in a match other than coming on as a sub against Wolves since then. I don't think he started. And you think about the game he had, that seems surprising to me. So let's see here. I don't think Greenwood will play. So I don't think Greenwood will play either, because I think Ollie's going to be trying really hard to go for top four and trust in his experience. Then Young rest. Somebody said we should rest Young, and then my friend Mo said Young rests during the games, that is true. He does tend to rest during the games. But let's go ahead. I mean, Matthew, same question to you. I mean, do you think that we should be looking to play the likes of, Mason Greenwood, Tahith Chong, instead of bringing through the people that we have been to play? And be sure to take yourself off of mute too. Cheers for
reminding me. Definitely didn't notice that. least said it before I actually started talking for a few seconds. But I think it depends on who those players are in terms of our current players. If we're talking about the likes of Mata, who just aren't playing well whatsoever, yeah, get like Greenwood or Chong or Gomez even to play on that exact position, or start Lingard there again. But I think right now, to be honest, this is a controversial take. If someone was to say to me, "You'll guarantee top four, but you won't, or you use like youth players for a maximum of 10 minutes for the rest of the season, or you wouldn't finish in the top four, but you'd use quite a few youth players occasionally," I'd go for top four at the moment, because at this stage, the top four clash is just the tightest it's ever been. Like, I'm pretty sure every single like third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are like 1 point. I think 2 teams are on 71 points, 2 teams are on 70 points, or it's somewhere around that. So for me, getting top four is the biggest priority, and if that means sacrificing a couple spots where youth players could come in, so be it. The new seasons is a time where all the youth players can start playing, especially pre-seasons, early cup games, early league games. But right now, most important thing is just putting out the strongest team as possible. However, in 1 or 2 areas, I would like to see maybe like Chong or Gomez or Greenwood, just because Mata in particular is just not performing at all. And we see it so many times, he's absolutely useless on the right wing. So for me, I'd probably have someone like Chong or Greenwood in place of Mata.
And I'm not talking about having them starting either. I want people to know that I'm not calling for them to start, because I think that would be irresponsible, especially considering the fact that Jesse Lingard is still, coming back from injury. He's on the bench and still looking to do things for the team. But I think that bringing through people that can bring the pace and tenacity that they can bring, I think it would be a huge help to what we're trying to do. And that's to be able to continue to get control the game. And to control the game, I mean, we saw when Greenwood came on that he looks comfortable in the squad. He looks comfortable. It was the same with Tahith Chong, that he looks comfortable when he comes on. So getting the chance to see players like them come in and make an impact off the bench would be awesome to see. Real quick, so Chong in for Mata. In mid, Fred Herrera with Wolves. I would actually really like to see that. Mata was truly terrible. Legs made of concrete. 7 cup finals for us in the league now. George, yeah. I don't think Chong Greenwood will play under Ollie. Saban, I think that they will, because I think that Ollie's a man of his word. And I think that he will, because there's a reason why he didn't let them go out on loan for the rest of the year. So why else would he? And then Statman Doug, thank you for the table.
The boy himself.
So he said Liverpool. So Liverpool at 79 points, 77. Spurs have 61, United have 61, then Arsenal have 60, and Chelsea have 60. So yeah, that's we are in a tight top 4 race. We are in a tight top 4 race. But I mean, if I'm being honest with myself, I look at that table and I know Spurs are going to drop more points. I know Arsenal are going to drop more points, and I know Chelsea are going to drop more points. So it's up to us to continue to do what we're going to do, and we need to beat Chelsea, and we need to beat City. If we do those 2 things, I can almost guarantee that we're going to wind up in top 4, because I don't see us dropping any other points outside of that. So if we beat them, or if we at least come out of them with draws, I think that it'll be hard for us not to get top 4. But let's go ahead. Let's jump into people we think are going to have a big effect on this game, guys. So Isaiah, I mean, looking at this game, looking at who played against Wolves, and looking at maybe possibly changing it up a little bit, I think that's a possibility that we could see a little bit of a change up from the Wolves game. Who do you think is going to have a true effect on this game?
If Victor Lindelof is back, I think he'll have probably the biggest effect, because like I'm going back to Watford. If he was in, I don't think Watford can get so many shots in. I honestly don't. But other than Victor Lindelof as well, I hope Lukaku is back. And I know he was on the bench, and I was hoping he would come on, but I wasn't meant to be. But I think he'll be 100% fit. Whether he starts, I don't know. It's debatable on that, but I think we're gonna need somebody big and strong like Lukaku against Cody and Bowley
Yeah.
because Rashford, he has pace, but he doesn't exactly have that strength to go up exactly against them.
Yeah, and I do agree with you there, Isaiah. I think that, looking at Lukaku, I mean, he wasn't available for our last match against them. And, we kind of saw what happened when we weren't able to bring on that change of pace,
Mm-hmm.
We weren't able to bring on something to change up the game when we went to the bench, because our game changers were McTominay. Like that was our game changer that got brought on. Sorry, but that's just not good enough. It's the truth, whether we like it or not. Marcus, Mad Marcus, how you doing, man?
Also, I think Diego Dallo does have to play either for Young or you play him in right mid.
So that's a tough one, because if we're looking at everything overall, I think that we saw Jesse Lingard coming back in. And I don't think that if Lingard is healthy, I don't think that we should be starting. I don't think we should be starting Delo over Lingard. But I also get where you're coming from, because I want him to be starting at that right back spot, because I look at what he does when he does play out on that right wing, and the crossing that he brings into the game makes a huge difference. And especially if we're going to have somebody like Lukaku be able to come on, I actually think that bringing on Lukaku and Delo together could actually be a good positive change, because of the change-up they could bring to the team. So that's a really good shout, bringing on Delo. I would love to see Delo replace Young, and I know George Kyle, that'll make him happy to hear you say that.
I just don't see Associa doing it. I just don't.
And the sad part is I don't either. I don't either, man. Like, as much as we want to see it, like it's just not happening at the moment. Actually, clearly a favorite, undroppable under every manager, it seems. Yeah, I mean, George, I get the thought of having the guy that has the experience. That's the problem. I get the thought behind it, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
Yeah.
Like, I
mean, experience is good as long as you've actually got quality. Like, if you're just an absolutely dead player and you've got experience, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all good knowing what to do. It's actually doing it, though, that, is way more valuable than knowing. So, I think with Ashley Young, I just don't see why he can continually put in like 4 out of 10 games every single week, and for other players just not to really come in or at least get a regular run out. Like, I think under normal circumstances, if we were to sign a right back in the summer, I'd start Delo as a right winger or I'd play him further up. But because Ashley Young is so terrible at the moment, 100% would start Delo in the right back position, because I mean, anything at this stage is better than Ashley Young.
I mean, and like the thing is, he's not even great defensively either. Like, he's not. But I'll gladly take him over Young, because at least I know that he can make up for what he lost defensively and going forward. I know he can make up for that. George, I agree. Wan-Bissaka is an absolute must. The young Englishman that can play the right back spot as well as he can, and doing it as well as he can for Crystal Palace, it says a lot about who he is. John Seth, I love this comment. Young is not young anymore. Yeah, you are not wrong on that one. And then Matthew, we did get asked who's the Scottishman with the forehead from Mad Marcus. So I ask you, who are you?
I ask myself that every day, to be honest. Don't know.
But so Matthew, same question to you. I mean, who do you think is going to have a big impact on this game against Wolves, or who do you think needs to have a big impact on this game?
I think Ashley Young's going to actually have a big impact for Wolves, not for United, that is. I think up front, depending on who we're going to see, I'm hoping that goal from Rashford is actually going to give him a bit of confidence going into the next game. So, hopefully, unlike last time where he was absolutely abysmal, even though he got a goal in the end, he'll actually contribute to something as opposed to recent games. And speaking of not contributing to stuff, Paul Pogba, his form is worrying me big time now, because, the first month or so under Ole, everyone was like, oh yeah, he's absolutely amazing, and so he was, like getting braces left, right and centre, getting important goals against the likes of Chelsea. but we've just not seen anything recently. We've not seen a single thing from him, and that's been about what, like 5 weeks since he last did something. I think his last goal came against Fulham, which, let's face it, is Fulham. They're not that great. So I want to see something from Paul Pogba. Depending on, yeah, it's Mad Marcus got MIC-based room pretty much. Been obsessed with it since I was about 11. So well spotted. But yeah, defence as well, like you said, it's like Victor Lindelof, him coming in is going to be a massive bonus if he does come in, that is. All depends on like parental leave and stuff. I know Ole was sort of nice enough to actually give him that leave for that game, which almost cost us, to be fair, but, you know, Smalling and Jones played pretty well. But yeah, if Lindelof comes in, then he'll give that more sort of calming influence. Like Luke Shaw, hopefully, I'm hoping to see actually, you know, a good run of form from him, because we all know what Luke Shaw can do, but we just don't see it enough. We don't see him, you know, getting to that, or like playing the important passes, getting up and down the pitch all the time. We just don't see that, you know, for a good run of 5 games or so. So I'm hoping that this can actually kickstart a little bit of form. So in terms of players who are going to have impact, I think those sort of 4 or 5 players that I mentioned are going to be absolutely key.
And you, honestly, you mentioned everybody that I was thinking of, and we all notice it. As Paul Pogba goes, so does the team. Because if Paul Pogba is having a phenomenal game, it seems like we blow out teams. If he's having that next level type of game, the other team doesn't stand a chance. But if Paul Pogba is having to do something else besides be himself and be able to like free himself up and express himself, then I'm sorry, we out here in a hotel room in 2019. Yes, Doug, we are out here in a hotel room in 2019. Basically, it's going to be all of 2019. You're going to probably see me in a hotel room. But I think that the other 2 people that need to be mentioned is whoever's playing in the midfield along with Pogba. Because however our other 2 midfielders go, because I think we're pretty much guaranteed to see Herrera and Matic. I don't think that we're going to see that change up yet. But if Herrera and Matic play, and they play well, we should beat Wolves. Because if they're playing well, it allows Paul Pogba, which I've seen quite a few people in the comments saying that Paul Pogba needs to be playing more forward. I agree with that. He does need to be playing more forward. But as the other 2 midfielders go, so does him. Because if he's needing to drop back and help them out more, then he can't get as further forward as he likes to. So I think that if Herrera and Matic have a good game, then I'm not worried about how Paul Pogba will do, because I think if they have a good game, Paul Pogba is going to have a good game. And that's where the argument of do we need to bring in more midfielders in the summer comes in, which I think pretty much everybody's on board with bringing in more midfielders. So, Kevin, you're always out in a hotel room at the moment. Has the wife? No, yes, Marcus. The wife has kicked me out of the house. It's true. Definitely not.
Let's get some donations for Andrew to help him find a new home.
Yeah, we're gonna need donations.
Get 1,000 subs quickly
to get into a new home, guys. It's true.
Yeah.
Because the wifey is done with seeing me until the baby comes. But so let's see here. So here's an interesting question for you guys before we kind of jump into the lineups. Do you think that we should see a different midfield than Pogba, Herrera, and Matic? What would be the midfield that you would prefer to see in a game, especially against a team like Wolves? I mean, Isaiah, I'll come to you first. Is there a mix-up you'd like to see, or do you think we should continue with the consistency that has been that midfielder?
Well, we won't. Pogba will be in the lineup, I'm sure, because honestly, there's nobody on the current Manchester United squad who can match up to Pogba's creativity and physicality and all that. But it's a tough one. I think we do see Matic, but I don't think we see Herrera. I think Fred will. I think he should replace who is it? Herrera. I don't think we'll see Mata. Honestly, I don't want to see Mata in the Wolves game.
I mean, Isaiah, I agree with you, man. I don't want to see Mata. I would if you were asking my opinion, I would like to see Herrera either play as the CDM and then see somebody else play alongside Pogba in that midfield, or see Herrera play up there and then see maybe Fred or McTominay play at the CDM spot and let them do what they do. Because I think that unlocking Pogba really is the key to the game. So, Matthew, same question to you. I mean, do you think we need to see a mix-up in that midfield?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'd probably drop both of them, to be honest. I'd be a bit ruthless when it comes to Herrera. I'm not sure if it's this whole, PSG contract thing that's just kind of turned his head a wee bit, but what you expect from Herrera is 100% professionalism and 100% effort, and he just didn't really show that. Like, apart from the first 15 minutes where he was misplacing every single pass, he was a passenger for that entire game. And it's so unlike Herrera not to even look like he's trying to get involved in the game. So I'd probably go back to not what it was against PSG because we didn't have Pogba, but I'd probably start McTominay as a defensive midfielder or Fred, one of those two players. McTominay if you want a bit of a more of a sort of bruiser or kind of a closing down player, which I think would probably actually help considering Neves needs to be closed down at all costs.
Yes.
Or if you want someone who's going to actually break that press that Shota and Jimenez will actually cause, you want Fred for that, to pick up the ball from deep, get past them, and then progress the ball forwards. So it depends on what kind of role you want. But as long as it's not Matic, who's going to take about 4 years to actually turn, and given how well Wolves actually press quite high up, it's just going to be absolute suicide.
Yeah. And
the other midfield that's going to have to be Pereira. I think he's shown that playing in Herrera's position and kind of role at the same time, like he's actually shown to be pretty good at that. He's got a little bit of physicality to him, which is something that I don't really think many of us thought he actually had. We all knew that, he could score really good goals or whatever, or have that kind of, flash where he does something absolutely amazing, but to actually, have this physical commanding presence in the midfield, it's not really something that you associate with Pereira. It's more like Pogba, Herrera, or Matic, but he's actually kind of shown that. And he's, shown in the last few games that he's actually, a credible squad player. So in this game where our other performers just aren't doing well, got to start Pereira and either McTominay and Fred. So one of those sort of two combinations, if you like.
And I would love to see Pereira get the start in this game. So I am what I am. You asked, is McTominay injured? So I don't know. I haven't heard anything official if he's injured. I mean, have either of you guys?
I'll check it. I'll check it just now.
Wasn't he on the bench yesterday?
I think he was on the bench.
Was he?
So I
honestly don't remember.
I don't think that he's. I don't think that he's hurt. I haven't seen anything about him being hurt, and I figure we would have seen Ollie at least say something. Like I haven't seen anything said about him. So Nicky Collins, good to see you, man. And then John said my ex-wife is from Holland. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I'll let you be the judge of that. I've never been to Holland. I would like to go sometime. Herrera's wife is French. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. I did not know. I didn't know that Herrera's wife was French. So the PSG rumors actually do make a little bit more sense now, because I would have never thought Herrera would have gone to a team like PSG before. But now hearing that, I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't know that either.
Marcus, we're not going to repeat that one. So let's go ahead, guys. Let's move on. Let's do our starting lineup predictions. Isaiah, I'm going to come to you first. What is going to be your starting lineup going into this game against Wolves? A match that honestly is a must-win and a must-revenge game after our FA Cup match.
I'm going with Lee Grant in goal.
Yes.
Get him on every week.
You're on the street forever now.
I should be managing.
Give him the keys to the channel.
No, obviously I'm going with David De Gea. I think he'll go with Ashley Young, so I'm going with Young. If I'm biased, I'll go with Dallo, but I know he'll go with Young. And he'll go with Mike Smalling. I'm hoping Victor Lindelof if he's back, but because I really don't want to see Jones in there. But not. I'm going with Victor Lindelof. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be a huge factor in the game too. And left back, obviously Luke Shaw. We don't have anybody else. The midfield. like I said earlier, I think it's going to be Fred, Pogba, and Matic in there, and then the attacking thing. It messes with my head because if Lukaku is fit, do you start him or do you keep Rashford in, who's just recently scored? That was a tough one.
So, I mean, for me, I would look at it, and I think that with what Ollie will do, I think that he's going to find it hard to drop Rashford, especially. I would honestly say both Rashford and Martial. So that's like it's the
Lukaku on the left. You could always do that.
Well,
on the right. I mean, on the right.
I was going to say I've thought that Lukaku could play on the right for us, but like at the same time, I also don't want to see. I would also love to see Jesse Lingard come back in and see how they've meshed together again, because I felt like when Lingard came on, I mean, we saw a goal come shortly after.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, also I think depending on what formation he plays, me personally, if Lukaku's 100%, why not go for a 4-4-2 with Lukaku and Rashford on top?
I mean, do a 4-4-2 diamond. I'd like to see that. Like I always like I like the 4-4-2 diamond, especially when I really noticed it against the Arsenal in the FA Cup when we played that formation and we had Martial and Rashford play up top, and then Lingard was kind of playing in that 10 position. I actually would like to see Lukaku get another chance at that, because I feel like him and Rashford really played well off each other. But I also don't want to see Martial dropped, and I don't know where Martial would fit into a 4-4-2 formation in that diamond formation, because I feel like if we're going to run that, I feel like we've got to run the 4-4-2 diamond. Let's see here. By the way, George Kyle, fantastic movie reference, going with an Austin Powers quote. You're always going to get me with those. But and then Dan M, thank you for the compliment on the beard. Much appreciated. I'll always take the compliments. Then let's see here. Let's see here. So, and then guys, also, if you want a chance to have your starting lineup read out, get it in, and we will read it out after we give out our starting lineup. So, Matthew, coming to you, what is going to be your starting lineup?
Right, I'm going to go with De Gea and goal, obviously. Memes aside. I'd probably start, for me, in terms of what I want, I'd start Deloitte right back. It kind of all depends if your boy Victor Lindelof's coming back or not. But assuming he's not coming back for the Wolves game, it would be Smalling and Jones. They played well last game. Are probably our best options, really. So might as well just start them. Luke Shaw on the left back. Midfield, this is where it literally could be anyone. I'd probably start Fred as the number 6, and then have Pereira and Pogba ahead to him.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I might change it up a bit. Have McTominay and Fred as the 2 sitting midfielders and change it to a 4-2-3-1. So I'd have Pogba as the number 10. So, because I'm sort of thinking, if we play a 4-4-2 diamond, chances are we're going to be playing a lot more central. And Wolverhampton have 2 central strikers, 3 central midfielders, 3 central defenders. They play very narrow and kind of use their width just from the wing backs. So if we kind of put our full backs and wingers on the wing backs, it's going to cause them even more issues. So I think if we play as wide as possible, and I think that's probably the way to go, really. So Pogba at the number 10, Lingard's on the right wing, Martial on the left wing, hoping to actually see a better performance from him, even though he got a goal. He just frustrated me on Saturday. And Rashford up top. Hopefully he's actually got that confidence to score a few more goals. Because I think that attacking 4 in that team is what we really need to rely on. Because they've been, pretty inconsistent as of recent. Some days they'll have an amazing game. Some days they'll just look like they've got a potato for a brain at the best of times. So all depends on that front 4. But yeah, that's how I'd start.
And Matthew, we did talk about it in our review from Watford that I really hope that the goals from Rashford and Martial kick off their confidence for the rest of this campaign. and that hopefully we wind up with a couple of guys that will really start feeding off of each other for the rest of the year and stay healthy together too. Because I think if they are able to play together for the rest of the year, I think that right there will be the key for the rest of the year and for how well we can actually do for the rest of the year. Because a healthy and confident Martial and Rashford is deadly for the team. Absolutely deadly for the team. And then Superboy, we face Barcelona next week on Wednesday.
I think it's the 10th of April, and then it's the 16th.
I'm pretty sure it's
we're home.
I don't even think I'm going to be watching that.
Let me tell you. I can tell you in here in just a second.
What's that? What time it is?
It is at Old Trafford first. Yes, Isaiah. So we are at Old Trafford first.
I think the draw said it was going to be at the Camp Nou first. However, because of like TV things and UEFA not allowing both Manchester clubs to play in the same day or something like that, or in the same area due to like police stuff, because obviously they said it would be way too busy. I think they changed it over. Don't quote me on that though, but I think that's the reason why.
That would make sense. The whole police thing would make sense because you need to have the protection and everything like that. So this is going to be my prediction for the starting lineup. I'm going to say that De Gea is going to be in goal. Like you said, memes aside, as much as I would love to see Lee Grant, the 100 rated keeper start. I mean, De Gea's got to start. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got a contractual obligation or something. I don't know. Then right back, I'm pretty much going to guarantee we're going to see Ashley Young, and left back, I'm pretty much going to guarantee we're going to see Luke Shaw. If Lindelof is back from having his baby, I'm going to say that Lindelof will be starting, and then Smalling will be the guy starting alongside him. If not, I think that we will see Phil Jones and Chris Smalling play together again. CDM, I actually think that we might see Scott McTominay start in this one. I would love to see Scott start too, because I think that what he could bring to the team in this is some simplicity. And in the last game that we played against Wolves, I feel like that's kind of something that we were missing, was some simplicity inside of that midfield. So if McTominay starts, I think that will ultimately benefit the team. And then I think that we will see Ander Herrera start in this match, because I did notice that he got taken off very early, and he wasn't having a great game. I get that, but getting taken off that early also would mean to me that he's probably trying to get him some more time to rest, considering the fact he's coming off of injury. So Herrera will probably start alongside Pogba in the midfield, and then I think that we will see a front three of Martial, Rashford, and Lingard. I could see Lukaku starting on the right as well, but I think that he will bring on Lukaku to be a super sub, change up the play kind of guy, because I think we're going to need that in this game. This is not going to be an easy game. Wolves are going to be a hard side to break down. They have been a hard side for everybody in the top six to break down. So I think that we will need Lukaku to come off the bench and be a game changer for us. And if he's able to do that and come on and change up what we've been doing, I think that we will win this game. I think we'll win it pretty easily too. So real quick, I'm going to read out your guys' starting 11s in predictions. So Danny Ogda said De Gea, Delo, Smalling, Lindelof, Shaw, Fred, Herrera, Pogba, Lukaku, Rashford, and Lingard. Let's see here. Talk about Dean Henderson. There we go. So Doug said De Gea, Delo, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw. Fantastic pass for Rashford's goal. Yeah, that's the pass that dreams are made of right there. That Shaw to Rashford pass. McTominay, Pereira, Pogba, Martial, Lukaku, Rashford. George Kyle said De Gea, Young, Smalling, Jones, Shaw, Matic, Fred, Pogba, Lingard, Rashi, and Martial, which will definitely be the best team. Saban saying De Gea, Delo, Iceman, Smaldini, Shaw, Herrera, Fred, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Lingard. I am what I said. De Gea, Young, Smalling, Jones, Shaw, Pogba, McTominay, Fred, Pereira, Rashford, and Martial. Pereira would be an interesting one to see start. I like, especially inside of like a front three. And then I am not seeing any other predictions. So guys, let's go ahead. Let's get to the final segment of this all. Let's go to our score predictions and how we think that this game is going to go. So, Isaiah, how are you going to say that you're going to go? Oh, God. Isaiah, how is the match going to go, and what is your score prediction?
If I'm being honest with you, I just don't see us winning this one. I really don't. And especially when Wolves have just come off of a defeat and we're playing at their stadium, they're going to be more hungry than us, obviously. I think, don't get me wrong, I want to win this. If we do win, I think 2-1. But if my honest opinion, I think we lose 2-0. And I might get a lot of hate off that, but
you know what? You're honest. Like, in all honesty, this is going to be a tough one, and it's at the Molyneux, which is going to make a huge difference in this game. But I also, the one thing I'm not going to discount is the fact that we did just get beaten by them in the FA Cup. So I think that we're going to want to take some revenge on that. But I respect you. You're coming on. You're like, you know what? This might be a bad one.
Yeah, especially when they just come off a defeat.
And they do like we've been saying, they play well against everybody in the top six because they're set up to do that. They're set up to play well in the top six.
And especially when they know that Everton and Watford are just behind them to get I think it's the last Europa League spot.
Yeah,
they're gonna really put it on us. I know they are.
No, and they're going to come out and they're going to play well. I can guarantee that. But Matthew, so are you going to go with kind of what Isaiah's talking about, or what are you thinking is going to happen?
Honestly, it could be anything. I think this game in particular is just set up for revenge. Revenge based on, the fact that we didn't play well yesterday, even though we got the win, and revenge on, obviously our previous opponents before that, which was Wolves. In terms of a score prediction, I think it's either going to be... The thing with Wolves is a lot of the games are like 1-1 or 2-1. They don't typically, score a ton of goals, but at the same time, like, they don't really let a lot in. That's the issue with them. I'm not going to lie, banter, that is very true. But yeah, score prediction, I'm probably going to go 2-1 United if I'm going to be hopeful. If not, a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
I don't think our defence is like the best thing in the world right now, especially with Jones. Yeah, he had a good game last time, but he's Phil Jones. You know what you're going to expect from him.
He is one Phil Jones face away from having a bad game. That is for sure. Rack one a bit. This is the thing, and this is where I'm having the bit of a struggle, is because I think that this is going to be a very defensive game. Especially for Wolves. And like George said, he said hopefully a 1-goal win, but probably a draw because they really do park the bus. And the thing is they do park the bus, but they also really do have a true high performance bus, because they park that bus and they hit on that counter crazy fast. It is really... It's actually quite impressive to see. I think that the thing we're going to have to talk about is the fact that Manchester United did not have a good game against Watford. And then our last game was against Wolves, and we lost to them in the FA Cup. We got knocked out by them in the FA Cup. I think that that's going to make a difference in how we're going to come out and play. This is going to be a defensive game. I'm not going to go with like a 2-1 or a 3-2 kind of game. I think Manchester United are going to win this game 1-0. I think they're going to win it late because of Lukaku coming on and scoring a late goal. I think Lukaku comes on and scores a late goal. And coming from the guy that hates – well, I don't hate Lukaku. That's the wrong way to put it. I am not a fan of Lukaku because I don't like what he brings to this new system that Ollie has. But he will be a difference maker in a game against a team like Wolves that have a 6'5" Willie Bolly, that have a massive back line. It's going to make a huge difference. So getting that, Doug, hate is a strong word. I don't hate the guy. Definitely don't hate the guy, but I don't like what he brings to the team necessarily. But
you weren't excited when we signed him in the first place?
Oh, I'm the first to admit I got a jersey of him. I was excited when he signed, but seeing the new system that we're playing, I don't see where he fits into the new system. That's the problem, because he doesn't really hold up the ball well. He doesn't really have a good, the first touch thing really is starting to show more and more as we're trying to hit out on the counter fast. And for me, if he can improve on those things, which we've had him for almost 2 years now, and he still hasn't been able to improve on those things, that's where my judgment of him is really starting to come into play. Because like I said, I was excited, and that was actually the guy that, of all the strikers we were rumored to be in for the year before, Lukaku was the guy that I wanted the most. Matthew can testify to that.
Mm-hmm. I was the exact same. I think I was probably one of only 3 people in the South who actually had him as my first choice.
Yeah, because I didn't think that Morata was going to be anything. And then I forget.
Oh, no, Morata, it was so obvious that Morata wasn't going to work out. He's a 15-goal season striker at most.
Yeah.
He always has been, always will be.
It was Bellotti from oh my God, Torino. That was the other one I would have been.
Problem is with a lot of players in Serie A, they're just one-season wonders. Like Bellotti and was it Sergei Savic from Lazio? What's he done this season? Nothing. That's the issue with a lot of players right now. And there's one guy who plays for AC Milan called Piontek. He's a new striker and he's been absolutely banging in the goals this season. But everyone's like, oh, sign him to Real Madrid and stuff. No. The chances are he'll probably be a one-season wonder. That just seems to be the thing with Serie A. So, yeah, Morata and all those other players, just no thanks. So it was always Lukaku from day one. But recently we've just, he scored a couple of goals here and there and put in decent individual performances from time to time. But in terms of what actually we want from a system, in terms of this attacking, free-flowing football, he just doesn't suit it. The only thing you can do with Lukaku is put him in the box. And he'll get you goals, but if you want him to contribute to build-up play, nope, not at all.
He is a very dangerous player inside the box. I'm not.
Yep.
But Isaiah, I've kind of heard you talk about Lukaku a little bit. Do you think that he can thrive inside of Ollie's system?
Lukaku?
Yes.
I don't know. I want him to. I've always been a big fan of Lukaku since his West Brom days, especially when he scored that hat-trick against United. And I think he can. It's hard to discuss.
No, and here's the thing: it's okay to have that differing opinion. We welcome all the opinions on here, because you mentioned him playing for Everton. He's not even the same player that he was when he was playing for Everton, because he can hold up the ball. And you see that video that circulates on Twitter from time to time where he's showing what he does, to hold off a defender and hold up the ball and then spin people. Where's that Lukaku been? I saw that Lukaku at Everton. We've never seen him at Manchester United do that, ever. That's my thing, is I think that he's got the talent to do it. But I don't know what happened to him that that part of his game went away. It's sad.
I think the thing with Lukaku is, like you said, on you go. All right. I think the thing, like you said, Lukaku's game has just changed so much to the point where, does anybody actually know what his game is now? He's not this hold up the play striker. He's not really someone who's going to run in behind the defensive line. You don't really see him scoring many headers. It's just what is Lukaku at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think many people can really answer that.
First season?
His first
season was very good. However, his goals in terms of Premier League wasn't the best. But it was the sort of thing we can say, all right, it's a good season, but you can build on it. But this season, even though he's got himself quite a lot of goals, I think he's a top scorer this season by 1 goal or something. In terms of all-round performances, we've just not seen it. Like, I remember his debut against West Ham in the first game of the season, and he was absolutely amazing then. And we were thinking, right, this guy's gonna, turn into a United great. But absolute meme-worthy performances later, he's sort of that difficult player who, he's going to get you goals, and he's a good player, but he just doesn't seem to be the best fit for the team. And it's that kind of awkward thing where it's like, right, do you perhaps change your tactics to some extent to try and fit him in? Or do you just say, no, we're going to sell a good player here, but it means that we've got more players who might not be as prolific as him, but can fit into our system? It's that kind of big debate.
I mean, Isaiah, I know you were about to bring something to when you guys kind of like clashed. So what were you about to say?
What was I about to say?
It's all good.
Honestly,
I think it was about Lukaku's first season, wasn't it? I think you had asked how I thought Lukaku's first season was.
Which
I think when he got like 27 goals.
I asked, but I don't remember what I was about to say.
Just so you guys could hear it, so Lukaku has 12 goals this season in the Premier League. Pogba has 11, and then Martial and Rashford have 10. So,
31 games in, yeah, he's been dropped for a few games. It's not really, it's an okay record, but it's not leading Premier League striker record. There's players right now, I think, on 19 goals, 18 goals, something like that, like Salah and Kane and those players. That's the sort of heights that he should be at a team like Man United, but he's just not quite that yet. Like, he's probably a sort of Tottenham or Arsenal standard player, or possibly even Everton.
Guys like Harry Kane or Mo Salah hanging out with Drake, Jay-Z, or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And
it seems to be those sorts of players too.
One of my theories about Lukaku was ever since he ditched his what was it? His agent. Yeah, and he signed with Rock Nation. He's been kind of dipping lately. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's a theory that people could think about.
So, Zaha Banter, I am seeing you talk a little bit about Lukaku here. I did like he said, under those new Jordan football boots, Lukaku's going to be a monster. I mean, we can only hope, man. We can only hope. And he is talking about the fact that he has been clutch for us, which, I mean...
against PSG, I mean, that guy won us a game.
Yeah.
So you can't really take that away from him.
But, it is something that I want to see Lukaku succeed because I don't want to see anybody struggle as a professional footballer. It hurts. But John Seth has one of the top comments here. He says, the problem with Lukaku is you never know what's going to happen. He might score a hat-trick or he might trip over his own shoelaces.
Yep.
It's the truth. You never know what Lukaku's going to show up. And if you get the Lukaku that's going to be that fox in the box and really be a danger, he does amazing things for the team, and he's a proven goal scorer. But when he's not being that guy, he's running that risk of tripping over his own feet. He doesn't have that level of talent to be able to combat that. That's the problem. But I mean, in fairness, we are getting a little bit off topic here, but real quick, if you guys do want to have your score predictions read out, get them in now because we've had enough comments that you guys' score predictions have gone by. So be sure to get your score predictions in because I would love to read them out for you. But I do think that this match against Wolves is going to be a very tough matchup. This isn't going to be something we're going to breeze by them. We shouldn't be trying to look past Wolves to look at Barcelona next. If we do that, we are running the risk of putting ourselves into a horrible position going forward and trying to make top four for the rest of the year. We can't not lose to Wolves. We cannot lose to them.
I hope we don't. But...
Especially when you got Chelsea and Man City in the same week.
Yep.
2 league games against them. That's we can talk about Wolverhampton being a tough game, but Chelsea, to be fair, they're not that great, but it's still Chelsea. They'll always be up for it. And then Man City, that game where, if you lose that, you've probably put Man City in the front seat in terms of the title race, and then possibly going on to win a couple more trophies, which is something that you don't want. But at the same time, if you win it, it might make Liverpool win the league. So it's that kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of result.
Yeah, But it's a tough one, man, because like everybody asks the question. Isaiah, I've seen you ask the question before on Twitter of, what would you rather take? Would you rather City win the quadruple or Liverpool win the league? And honestly, for me, I don't think I could take City winning the quadruple for two reasons. One, because then they could say they've done something that we haven't.
Yeah.
And two, it would also prove that money could literally buy you everything. And I don't want to believe that's possible yet. I understand that it's true and it is possible, but I don't know if my heart could take that, like truly believing that money could buy you everything. So
I think see on the surface, Liverpool winning the league is way easier to deal with, but it's the fans. It's those, millions of Scousers. To be fair, it's going to be one sort of year where you got to bite your tongue really, no matter who wins it. But nah, I think banter sums it up. As much as I hate Liverpool, I actually respect them.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like, they're a proper club. They've got good fans. They've got good history. They're actually a big club as opposed to Man City. They're just artificial cheaters who, if they go on to win the quadruple, the media will play it up like it's the greatest achievement in the history of football.
Game. Like, they just like this.
Yeah.
This.
Exactly. But yeah, if City actually win the quadruple, then, which they won't, by the way, they'll only win one other trophy, no doubt about it. But City win the quadruple, then the media will just play it up like they're better than the 99 team, which is an absolute joke. Because back then, you didn't have such big squads of like stockpiled players. You pretty much had about 15 decent players, whereas Man City have probably got a second team that are capable of getting in the top four. Never mind the first team. So, yeah, Man City winning the quadruple, no thanks. Can't deal with it.
Man, I couldn't either. I mean, Isaiah, we'll ask it live. I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Liverpool win the league or City win the quadruple?
Putting me on the spot, man. I think I gotta agree with you guys. I can't live with City winning the quadruple, especially when I have friends that are so-called City fans. they will not stop talking about it. And then if I bring up something to say, you're living off the past.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you don't even have a past before 2009, so
yeah,
that's what you comment.
Oh no, they did. They were Chelsea fans.
Oh, that's true. That's true. My bad, Matthew. Let's see. So I didn't really see anybody give a score prediction. I saw a few people say 3-1 earlier.
I think there was a couple of 1-1s as well.
I did see a couple of 1-1s, and then I did see Doug say 1-1 as well.
Yeah.
So you know what, guys, let's go ahead and let's wrap it up. I mean, we're almost an hour in. We should wrap it up. So especially since it's getting late for Matthew. But I mean, it was great to have a new guest on. I mean, Isaiah, thank you very much for joining me. I know you're going to be starting up your own YouTube channel here soon. And I'm excited for that. But man, I mean, Twitter's in the description below. But anything else you want to shout out?
Other than my Twitter, that's it.
Awesome, man. Well, be sure to follow him. He's at Real Isaiah, ISIAI. ISIAH. When one, then the number 1, Real Isaiah 1. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. He's an awesome follow. I love getting to interact with the guy. And I can't wait to see you start up your YouTube channel, man. We'll definitely get you back on when you do.
Oh yeah.
And then, so real quick, Haha Banter did say 3-0 for Manchester United, Rashford and Pogba with 2. And then George Kyle said 2-1 Manchester United. Please.
Hope they're right.
I'll take any win at this rate.
Yeah. I would love to see either one of those score lines, in all honesty, not the 1-0 that I'm predicting. But, Matthew, as always, I mean, you're pretty much a guarantee on here. I mean, getting to see you and all of your forehead glory, I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed.
Look at it. I mean, it's not called face cam; it's called forehead cam. Let's face it.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. It's true. That's why it's an extra wide screen.
All forehead. I mean, there's not a lot.
You don't count though. You don't count. You're just an egg.
It's you know what? That's real. I am just an egg.
Like Dr. Eggman from the Sonic games.
But guys,
this is just the roast of Andrew today.
I mean, I'll take it. But Matthew, I think that you make posters. I'm not 100% sure on that because I don't have any up on my wall.
Nope, not at all. There's can't see any up there. You know, offside graph is just down now until you get back to your house. That's how it goes.
Sure.
But, yeah, like 25% off every Ole poster up until next Monday or next Sunday or something like that. I forget what deals I do. That's a shocking. But yeah, 25% off every single Ole poster to kind of celebrate him being a full-time manager. Hopefully, we'll get even more celebrations on Tuesday.
That's the hope, man. I think we're going to see it too. I really hope so. But thank you very much to my guests. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us today. It was an awesome stream. Be sure to drop a like on your way out. Be sure to share it if you really liked it. I would love the channel to grow a little bit more, so that way, you know, we can continue to have more guests come on, and you know, I want to start trying to get more of you guys joining us. I know that George Kyle's going to join us soon. But guys, just genuinely thank you all to everybody, Isaiah, Matthew, everybody in the chat. I really appreciate you guys all joining me. And I really do hope that you guys all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you, because I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it.